Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hometown Cable's What's Going On Here. I'm Bob Venn. Calvin Castine has the camera, and we're here for another visit with a very interesting person who took us for a little tour up near the Frog Pond some time ago. William LaBelle, Bill LaBelle. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
And we certainly have had good comments about when you were talking with us before, and they love your stories. So we're going to just wander this morning, folks. We're going to tell you, Bill has got so many stories, and we will jump from one to the other. But how have you been over the winter?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, very good, yeah.
We should remind these people...
That gets the winter's too long.
It's too long. Remind these people, Bill, what year you were born.
1908.
1908. That means that he is going to be this year 87. Oh, you were,
I am 87.
You are 80. You are 87. You're going to be 88 this year?
I was born in January on a Sunday.
On a Sunday?
And my wife was born on a Sunday.
We don't give her age, so we don't tell her age, because, boy, we'll really
She never told me.
All right. We stopped in to see, before we start, after we left St. Anne's yesterday in Moore's Fork, they had a great day. They had great weather for their bazaar, and Calvin was up there taping. You'll probably be seeing this, I think, before the parade. We don't know. But when I left, I stopped up to see our real good friend. We had so many comments, Jim Misek, to tell him, just say hello. And he's been in the hospital. He has a slipped disc. Good friend of yours.
Oh, yeah, I've known him since he was a kid.
We'll talk about that in a minute. And he was telling us that he's not getting around as easy as he was before. And I think anybody out there, we've had more comment about Jim Misek than any program we've done in over 350. And I just think it would be a great idea, anybody out there who knows him, to just send him a card and tell him you enjoyed seeing him on TV and you hope he's feeling better. And maybe you will see him one of these days. So just send it to Jim Misek, the Misek Road, M-E-S-I-C-K, Moore's Forks, New York, I guess. That's the mailing address, 12959. You can remember that. And if you don't know Jim Misek, drop him a card and tell him that you don't know who he is, but you enjoyed seeing him on Hometown Cable. I'd appreciate that. And the man is 84 years old. He's just a kid, according to you, right?
Yeah.
Just a kid, and I'm sure will be very pleased to hear from you. He told us that a couple from Albany contacted him and went to see him because of our program, because he mentioned one of their relatives on the tape, and they wanted to talk to him about their relative.
Oh, that goes. People move.
Oh, sure. So if you do that, we'd appreciate it. I know Jim would. Now, how long have you known Jim Misek, Bill?
Well, my God, way back 1928, 29. He wasn't very old then.
Was he selling you wood for you?
No. I worked up there in the backwoods there in the summer of 1928. And his father, I think Henry Misek.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a long time ago. I was working for Hendrik Ringberg then in the woods there, sawing stove wood.
Oh, so that wasn't any part of the ski factory yet at that time?
No, that was, Ringberg had a woodlot up there.
You were manager for how many years at the ski factory here?
From 1922 to pretty close 1970.
Okay, 50 years.
1942, not 22, 42.
Okay, 30 some odd years.
20, I figured 25 years.
You never bought any wood from him. Where did you get your wood for your skis?
Well, from everybody around that bring in wood, yeah.
Did you review all the wood, or did you have a man who did that?
Well, I checked most of the wood come in, to grade the logs and all that stuff. Then beside that, I did everything.
Yeah.
Built machine for special jobs, made the templates, the forms, the patterns. Done it all myself.
Bill, looking at you, people would say that you enjoy life. You've enjoyed your life over the years, huh?
Yeah.
And when you weren't, we know you were home once in a while. You've got 9 kids, how many?
10.
10 kids, so he was home once in a while. But between the shop and you made a lot of sales over the years.
Oh, yeah. Made a lot of skis for the government, too.
Yeah.
About, 55,000 pairs.
For the government, yeah?
Yeah. And we built all the mess tables, the ladders, the shelvings, and a lot of cabinets for Camp Drum in 1942 and 43. We subcontracted through Masons in Peru.
I see. So they came to see you? Is that the idea?
Yeah. But back then there was nobody. There was only me and Elder Ringberg. And Elder said, what are we going to do with it? Yeah. Ringberg had taken off and said, this place is going to close for all. And after that, we started building up. And we ended up getting 68 working there. But 48 girls and women.
Now,
and 20 men.
Now, did you had subdivisions under you? You had different foremen?
Well, in each department, they have somebody that knew just what they had to be done, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So when you were building those things, those were things you hadn't built before?
No, that's right. It's
So
everything was new. You had to build stuff according to what you had to do.
Uh-huh.
You had to make forms and all that stuff, you know, make these shelvings that we had to, it was all made separate, then nailed together. It had forms that they put the stuff in and nail them, so they always didn't have to measure nothing.
Now, to remind people, Bill, you were born here in Champlain in 1908.
Yeah.
Who were your parents?
My father, Joseph LaBelle, and my mother is Zilda Duquette.
Okay. They were both from Canada originally?
Well, my father born in Champlain, and my grandfather was born here. Then it goes way back, my great grandfather way back in the 1700s. But that time, the Canadian line was further down this way. They were born on Canadian territory. Then after the War of 1812, they moved the line up north.
I see.
Well, you know that.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, that's
like
the
Fort
Ashburton-
Montgomery. They
yes,
call it
yes.
Fort Blunder.
Webster-Ashburton Treaty. I
It
think
was built on Canadian soil.
Yep, they had the treaty.
Yeah.
Right. Then you were here till about 1917 when you
We
moved?
moved in the spring of 1918, April 1st, April Fool's Day. When I walked down street, there was about an inch of snow on the ground, and George Gamache was on the bridge watching to see if there was any walleyes coming up. I can still remember that.
Now, who was George Gabash? Who is?
George Gamache was Omer Gamache's brother,
Okay.
and they were born right up on the corner of Moore and Main Street.
French Village up in that
Yeah,
area.
Yeah.
Okay.
George, there was Wolford, Han Gamache, Hilda Gamache, and then there was Norman. Norman, you must have known Norman. He lived on.
Yes. So you were 10 when you moved to where?
Yeah.
Where did you move?
We moved to Winooski. Then we were there, that was until about December, I think. November, December, we moved to Burlington. That's when we stayed there the rest of the time.
Right, and you came back to
Well,
Champlain?
Burlington, Winooski, just
Yeah,
walk
right across the bridge.
you know.
Yeah. That's where the big mills were,
My
too.
mother worked right in the mill there. As you passed the bridge there into Burlington, on the left there was Chase Cotton Mill. So my mother worked there. See, my mother had worked in them mills when she was a young girl in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island.
You know, Saturday was a genealogy meeting, and the people were talking that it's the mills that brought the Canadians down here in the middle of the 1800s, the
Yeah,
1860s,
yeah.
70s, because they had no work, and there was a lot of work up in
See, like Adams and North Adams and Massachusetts, it was all French.
Yes,
In
yes.
Providence, Rhode Island, that was all French. The whole family went down there, all family.
and for work, right?
Yeah, they worked there. They were down there 7 years, and all the money was put in the kitty, and they come back up here. They bought a farm in Canada. They bought one of my Uncle Duquette's farm, I believe, there on Hope Street at the Lord Duquette. Then another one on St. Andre Road. Another farm was bought there. So they got all the boys into business.
Yeah, the lady was saying, girls on a farm didn't do an awful lot, so there wasn't work. So you wanted to have boys
It's the boys that
could work.
and they're the one that they were set up after they were old enough. They got married.
Right. So when they came down to the United States, they went into New England, and the girls had ready factory jobs, making cloth and doing things down here.
See, my mother knew all that work. When she went in there, she got a job right off. She knew exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm. So you came back to Champlain when?
In April 1927.
So you've been here since that time?
Yeah. Then when I came here, I think it was on a Friday, and my brother Clarence, he was working for Bum LaFountain, Albion LaFountain, and he said, go see Henrik. He said, Henrik. I said, Henrik who? He said, Henrik Ringbird. He said, the ski shop. So on a Monday morning, I went over there, and he told me come in Wednesday. And I went in Wednesday, and I was there for almost 40 years.
So you worked, before he started the ski factory, you were doing different things for him, cutting wood and...
No, that factory was still going on. He's been in that business since 1908.
Oh, he did, doing what? Making...
Yeah, he was on Prospect Street when they first, he started at home, right down across from the old, school there.
Yeah, he was
the
on
school
the...
that burned, they were down the hill.
Down the
there.
hill, between there and River Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think where Henry Garso, you lived there. That's where his mother, they were living there.
Oh, he started at that
And
long.
in the back, they started there. They had kids go there with a bicycle to run the saws, to start making skis. Then they started up on On Prospect Street, just past, across the road from Racine's farm, just there, before you get into all those stones, they had a
Okay.
plant there. But when we moved back, they already had built that one on Butternut Street. But not as big as it was when I was there, because they expanded after I went there.
Okay.
They built the sawmill there, then they built a building on the hill, then they stretched it out, lengthened it out with the paint room. They used to do all that by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on they got a sprayer, so that we spray it. And they had to have a fan that just push all the spray out that's flying around.
I want to remind you out there that this is Bill LaBelle, and if you have a memory, when you're 87 like this man, he didn't move back here in 1927. He moved back here in April 1927. Well, we're going to take a short break and come right back. Want to remind you, you're watching What's Going On here. We're at the residence of Bill and Mrs. Your wife's first name is?
Myrtle.
Myrtle.
Well, everybody calls her Frances.
Okay.
Everybody knows her by Frances.
It's Francis. Okay, but Francis, you see, Francis and Bill LaBelle's residence here in Champlain, and we'll be right back. Sometimes when I'm thinking of a question and I'm listening, I listen most of the time, believe me, but I miss when you talked about the children or young people riding a bicycle for a motor. Now, what did you...
Well, there wasn't a motor. I mean, they were riding a bicycle and they fixed up to run the little ripsaw. And the kids would pedal the bicycle to run the ripsaw so they could saw wood. Little strips, they were making skis.
Like an exercise bike. It just was stationary. You had a little pulley on it, I take, and it had a belt, and you have to turn pretty steady.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to have a sharp saw. Did you sharpen
I don't know exactly. I never saw it, but that's the way I was told. That's when they started.
Okay.
And their mother used to sell school supplies in that place. She had a little store there. I used to go there to buy pencils or little tablets.
That's before you moved.
Oh yeah. That was going to the high school then. That school right across the road where Friends lives now.
Okay, where did you live then, Bill? Where would your...
French Village, where was it Carrie?
Oh yes,
There's a Carrie next to that brick, that cement block house.
Okay.
Cement block house was built by George Monette.
Okay.
He had a machine. He made his own blocks. And when we left there was no roof. There was nobody living there. It never was finished. Then when George Fineff, he got married, he finished fixing it up and he moved in there. George Fineff.
Okay, for you people who don't know where he's talking about, when you go up Main Street, go by the laundry, you see the top of the hill, and between there and the junction where the old milk plant, on the right-hand side is where he lived at that time. And of course, we didn't ride a school bus. There were no
There's
school
a sign in front of the house now, I think it's for sale.
Okay,
They tore the porch. There was a nice porch in the front, and they tore that out, and they just put a deck in the front.
It doesn't say Bill
But the
LaBelle.
house wasn't like that. When the house was right on the ground almost, very small house. With my mother had it raised up, and a new addition put in the back. That addition in the back, that wasn't there, just the front section.
Now, you see, he said his mother has it raised up. As I recall, your father died when you were born.
My father died in 1909, the fall.
Okay, so that your
And
mother
I had
was...
a brother, wasn't even born yet.
And how many kids were there? How many children?
5, I had 4 boys and 1 girl.
So she had to make the living for the family.
Yeah, for the whole thing.
What brought her?
Everybody worked. My brother Euclid worked at the Sheridan for 5 cents an hour, learning a trade. 10 hours a day, 50 cents.
Yeah.
Saturday's the same as any other day. There's 6 days a week them days. That's when I was working, when I first started working 6 days a week.
Well, was there someone in Burlington that she knew?
Well, she had sisters there.
There's why they moved to Burlington.
Yeah, my aunt Mary, and my aunt Mitzi, and then there was Julian. There was another one. There was 3. Mary, Julian, and Mitzi. There was 3 of them there at the time that lived. They were working there.
Uh-huh. Now, you mentioned, Calvin was talking, we were talking off camera, that women are working today, and they talk about women didn't work out of the house then, but in this case, she was...
Well, in the cotton mills, they're all women.
Yeah, and she had to earn the living because she had the children. There was no husband.
$8 a week, I guess they were making.
Did your mother ever marry again?
No, she brought us all up alone. No welfare. She wouldn't have taken it anyway. She was too proud. She would never would have taken it. No food stamps. Nothing.
And your mother was very young at that time, obviously.
She was about, at the time,
30?
she must have been 30. She got married, she was 27.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah, so she was 20.
And we get, well, everyone in the family gets married on the old. How old was Rose when she got married? 27? Yeah, see, like old. My daughter Rosa lives in Vermont.
Yeah.
27.
So what we're talking about is that women were working then. They were working.
I remember working at the old nice sawmill when they were edging the shingles and the little strips that come down the chute. And we used to fill the hoops that came off nail kegs. For 5 cents, it took us about 3-4 hours to fill a hoop. The 3-4 guys are grabbing the stuff as it come out.
Let's take a short break and see if we can get this dog to stop barking. I think that may be interrupting some people. Okay, we're back. And Bill, it's very interesting, I think, for people out there to realize that you didn't each take your own money and buy what you wanted. Any money raised by the kids went to the family because you needed money right
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
You were talking about Edward little kids and the hoops. What were you telling us about the hoops and the nails?
Oh my God, that they were cutting. That's old nice sawmill. I bet a lot of people don't even know there was a sawmill in the village. But when you go down to where the waterworks is now, well, there used to be a sawmill right there, that nice sawmill. Well, they had when they cut the shingles, they were making shingles, the edging, they had to be all edged, you know. The little edgings come down that chute, then we'd be there, 2-3 kids grabbing them as they come down, trying to fill this hoop that came off a nail keg. Well, sometimes it took 3 hours, and they had to be tight to get 5 cents.
So you would put them into a hoop rather than put the hoop around them?
No, you fill the hoop.
You fill the hoop up.
One at a time, then you make sure they were tight. 5 cents. 5 cents.
And then you gave your money to your.
Yeah. I remember walking 4 miles in Burlington to save 5 cents a streetcar fare.
Yeah, see, people don't realize today. You think about a nickel.
Right from just across the bridge in Burlington from Window Street. We lived there on Barrett Street. We walked to Lakeside to save 5 cents.
Yeah. Today people won't bend over to pick up a 5 cent, nickel. They don't pick up pennies.
And we learned to read. We weren't brought up to.
Yeah. Was it called the French Village where you lived at that time? Why was it called? Do you know why?
Well, that's all French people was up there.
And then the other part of the community, there were other people?
Yeah, on Oak Street, there was another different type of people. Down River Street, there was. They used to call that, they nicknamed Blue Street because all the houses were painted blue.
They got it on sale. Or they probably made their own paint. They made a lot of it.
What was the nickname for Oak Street?
What was the nickname for Oak Street then? What did you call it? Did you have a nickname for it?
That was Snob Hill.
Snob Hill. It was, huh?
But it's not that like that anymore.
No, it certainly isn't. But it was called that, yeah. Nice big homes. The big homes in Champlain were on Oak Street.
Yeah. Looking at some beautiful homes that are just going to heck, eh?
Did you graduate from high school, Bill?
No. 8th grade.
8th grade, huh? So your knowledge you've picked up the hard way and...
yeah, and read. I do a lot of reading.
You do a lot of reading, huh? How old were you when you got married?
Almost 34.
34? You got married later, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I say in our family, except my sister. She got married, she was 18. But the others, old.
Around in the early 20s, 30s, people were getting married before 20, a lot of them, young people, if they didn't have to work maybe.
Yeah.
But my mother was married, I think, at 17, I think, my mother. And
I think like Orville Palmer, I think he was 16.
Yeah, couldn't wait.
Then he went into the service and he came back and then he's still living with his wife.
Yeah.
We got all right.
Couldn't wait, though. They couldn't wait, huh? All right, so along the way, excuse me, Bill LaBelle has become interested in lots of things. And he said, like he was saying, they were inexpensive at the time, and he invested his money. And not necessarily because they were worth money, but because you liked them.
That's right.
Right, over the years? And what was the first thing you started to collect? Do you remember?
Well,
Did that get you interested?
Well, that was, I think, way back in 1916 or 17, we were trying to, then below the mill race at nice sawmill, we were moving stones to make a little bit more space to swim. Because when you're only about 2-3 feet tall or 4 feet, we weren't big them days. they'll see a coin, I thought it was a penny. Just come up from under the stone. So I grabbed it, and I looked at it, run like it. It was a penny, and them days were money. Home, and I got home, my mother looked at it, said, no, it's not a penny. She says, I'll put it away for you. And put it away, and my God, she said, notice I started being interested in coins, old coins, stuff like that, and she gave it to me. 18.3, $5 gold piece.
Is that
But
right?
it's pretty well worn. It's worn, but I still got it.
You still have that. When we talk about the Nye Mill, you have to think of where the Champlain Laundry is. And
There used to be a foundry.
right
No,
where-
no, that was woodworking plant where the laundry is, but where the garage is of the
Adrian
of
LaFountain,
Adrian
yeah.
LaFountain, there was a foundry.
Yeah.
And where this little store is, that was the office. I
Yeah.
remember seeing them pouring,
Yeah.
they're pouring stuff there.
They made plow points and farm equipment, I believe,
they
there.
used to make these plowshares, you know,
Yep.
and stuff
Yep.
like that.
So if you were to follow the river from right behind the laundry and go up maybe 500 feet, you'd be up in that area where...
Well, there was a dam there, Cruddle's Dam. I
And that's
remember
where
when
you
that
swim.
dam was up.
Yep.
I remember being above the dam in a boat.
Yeah. If you remember when we talked with Bennett Dane, he took us back there, and we went back and we had some pictures taken back where that dam was. There were 2 or 3 dams on the lake, on the river rather. From there, from the bridge up to Perry's Mills, there were at least 3 dams, right?
There's one, there's Cruddle's Dam, there's Nye's Dam, the Whiteside Dam, they just rebuilt it.
Yep, that's right. And then
Yeah.
there was another dam above there.
Yeah, then there's Kaufman, above Kaufman, just
Oh, yeah.
just by on the old Route 11, from Parisville towards Route 11, there's another dam. There was a paper mill there. The ruins are still there. You've never been there, I don't think, eh? I can still bring you there someday to show you where
On
it
the
is.
road where Perry's Mills Road?
Past Armstrong's farm.
No, not that one. We knew there's a dam, but we didn't go there. No, we did not go there. Someday I'd like to see that with
Do
you.
you know where Armstrong's farm
Yes.
is? Well, you just keep going a little ways, and there's a brook there that crossed the road. Well, just past that brook, to the left, the ruins are still in there.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Maybe someday we'll do
Yeah.
that. Okay, we'll take another short break and come back, enjoying ourselves. We're going to ramble this morning, folks. We're not here for anyone. Bill's got a lot of different collections, and we're going to throw the things in here about Champlain whenever he brings something up. We have no agenda as such. This man can talk and talk, and a memory like an elephant. His memory. Be right back. There came a time, Bill, that you got interested in a thing called banks. Now, if you didn't have any money, what were you doing with banks? What did you want to bank? You didn't have any money.
Because I like the looks of them.
You like to look them, but
They're old and they're getting scarcer all the
okay,
time.
you just told us off camera what you told your children about saving money.
Yeah.
It's not what you make; it's what you save.
That's right, and you know that too.
Now tell us about that again. You suggested that they save.
I was brought up that way.
Uh-huh.
My mother was brought up like that. Always, even if you can only 10 cents, you just put it aside and forget it, just as if you didn't have it. 10 cents on every dollar. If you can do it, put it away.
Uh-huh. And some of the money that you were saving, you put into hard
Yeah.
merchandise. Like, for instance, we'll just start off with I don't know which one was first,
That's
but...
that's a still bank. What do you call them still banks? That's a Girl Scout.
Okay. And you see, it's very thick, heavy,
They're
and
made of cast iron.
there's the hole in the back to put your money in. And you took the screws out to take your money out. So your brother could take your money out if he wanted. You got to be
You
careful.
have to take it apart. But you'll notice there's a lot of these still got pennies in them.
Now here is another.
That's a sailor.
Do you remember where you got these, Bill?
No, that's so long.
Okay.
That,
These
I
were
went to so many auctions.
right. These were the first banks, you see. Not the first, but they were the ones that were just and very famous building, and that is
The Flatiron Building in New York City. I've been under that building. Okay, the subways come right all over, and you come right out under it, and you get out right under in the Flatiron Building.
There's the hole on the top. See, there's not much in there because he don't save that money anymore now, see? All right, so then Here's another, and probably a baseball player.
That's a no.
Right?
That's
Collectible
way
not
back.
only because of banks, but because in this case, a baseball collector would like something like that, like Foxy Gagnon in Plattsburgh would just love something like that because it's baseball. Did you ever play baseball, Bill?
Yeah.
I
When
don't know.
they used in Burlington, our Island School,
Uh-huh.
we'd pick up girl the side, you know, so many on one side. They used to call me Home Run Baker, but I never knew who Home Run Baker was. And until I got these blankets.
Those blanket
And
squares
our
you
blankets,
have.
there's one on there, Baker, he played for the Detroit Tigers.
Home Run Baker.
It's like, the Home Run Baker. That's the only guy that I had a different one who was Home Run Baker, nobody ever knew, but that was way back in the 20s.
I'll have to find the story about Home Run Baker and give you a copy for your files.
Home Run Baker.
See, no matter where you head with Bill LaBelle, you got a story. No matter where you head. So if you think we're deviant, don't worry about that. But now here's a little larger,
A deer.
A deer?
That's a nice one.
and this probably weighs a pound and a half to 2 pounds.
To show where the slot is in the
Yes,
back.
see, right here is.
You put your bucks in there?
So, and then another one, there were soldiers, buildings, and animals. Now here is
A lion.
A lion?
The bigger the lion is, the more valuable they are.
For value, yes.
Yeah.
Now here is the slot on top. Now Bill is not a bank collector. He just has some banks.
I just
There are
pick 'em
some,
up. When I see them, I pick them up.
yep, there's some people who are much more a collector of banks. Now here is
There's a little mammy.
Jemima here, look.
That's original paint, too.
Yeah, you see, they're not going to put any quarters in this one. Didn't have quarters. Had a lot of nickels, dimes,
Then
and pennies.
they were just pennies. They were.
Yeah. See, isn't that a nice look? That's a beautiful little bank. And another still bank, Cupid, a little old man here, and then the slot on the top. And there were a lot of these around, Bill, do you know?
Well, years ago, there was people that they used to get them, I guess, on Christmas Day. They'd get their bank.
Uh-huh.
There's an Indian.
You know, yeah, here's an Indian, and again, the slot is on the back. A lady the other day at this genealogy was talking about how valuable that her mother used to talk on Christmas. You didn't get very much, but they used to get an orange, and that was a big thing to get an orange in your stocking. Do you remember getting any oranges? You didn't have
The
oranges
only
during
thing
the
we
year.
got on Christmas, that toys that came from people up the Nyes.
On Snob Hill.
That they had the year before.
Yes.
That was left over. My mother used to work for Nyes a lot. The fact is that she used to bring me with her when I went to work. And I used to play with Pat Nye. Pat Nye was just a little girl around 8, 9 years old, about the same age. I don't know. I wonder if she's still living. That Tricia Nye.
No,
And all the toys we got were the toys that she had the Christmas before. That's the toys we got.
it's hard for some people out there to realize how little families had back in the 20s
That's
and the 30s, and particularly where you lost the man of the house who would normally bring in the income, and you had the wife do that, and all the kids worked, and they all brought their money home.
My brother Euclid, I think, 15 or 16 years old, working at the Sheridan, 5 cents an hour to learn a trade.
That's $2 a week, you know.
$3 a week, 50 cents a day.
Now this is a Tank Bank USA 1918. Of course, it was the thing.
That's the first time the tanks came out during the First World
Yeah,
War.
that is I've never seen one of those ever, but it's very heavy. That's not just, these are not tin, believe me, folks. These are thick metal.
What
And
about this?
okay, now you got a horse here. Can you get that, Bill? Here is a horse.
That's a heavy one.
That's very heavy. Again, the slot in the back right here. That'll hold quarters in this one. And these are all still banks. Now there's, of course, with most things that Bill has,
There's a lot more, but
there are, that's right, that's fine. We have is stories, and particularly stories about people that you know. Here's a story right here we're going to hear about. That little bank you got right there, Bill. Tell us about that little dog.
this little dog,
Yep.
that came from Peg Barcombe.
And if you watch Hometown Cable, you know who Peg Barcombe is.
That's a long time ago. We were talking about banks, and then we were at the auction in Albert. My God, it must be 30 years ago, at least 30. And they're talking about this and that, and Louis Cameron, he collects the railroad stuff. And one day I told him, I said, I got a book on railroads at the house somewhere. I says, I'll bring it over and I'll give it to you. And he's talking about bank, different things and that. And Peg Barkman says, well, I got a still bank. I said, I'll sell it to you. So when next time I went down, I brought that book down to the auction because they were there every Saturday and I was there every Saturday. And the book, you looked at it and said, my God, that's the one I'm missing.
Is that
My old collection. I said, you said I was wondering where it was.
So you got,
then she had that, and I bought it from her.
and you even remember what you paid too.
$5.
$5. Now I'll tell you, when Peg is a very interesting storyteller and just great in organizing, and not only does she know a lot of things, but if you ever miss our program and want to know what was on that previous Sunday, you just call Peg Barkman. She's one of our best watchers and one of the early patrons and a continued patron to Hometown Cable. She sends in $12 or more to keep this kind of a program going, and if you want to emulate Peg, you just send it to 1477 Ridge Road in Champlain, New York. And that's not why we like Peg Barkman. Peg Barkman has been very good to Hometown Cable. She's been one of our most frequent people talking with us, and we're going to be doing something with her again one of these days. And, Peg, we appreciate all your good comments, and even when you didn't know you knew Bill LaBelle so well either. Here, look at this, Bill LaBelle. And then there's another story here, Bill, that you've told me that I remember. This bank here, the door opens, and there is the slot on the top, and
if you'll notice, when you press this here, watch the dog.
yeah, see his mouth open.
That's a dog on safe door.
Yeah, so this is one, and then you had a combination lock right here. See,
I got the
open.
combination somewhere for
Yeah.
it, but
And now there's a story.
there's a little bellows in there, but it leaks. If it was repaired, the dog would bark when you pull that up.
Is that right?
Yeah, see, you
yes,
listen.
yes, yes, right, yes.
It would bark. I'd have to take it apart, and probably it's not very young, that thing.
You don't have any idea when that was made, Bill, or any of
Back
these?
in the 1908, not before.
Okay. Now tell us the story about this one. How you got this one?
Well, I got that from Bill Spellman. One day after his mother died, he was cleaning out the house, and I used our truck to help him move his stuff out of there. Then we walked up in the attic, and the bank was on the side of the landing, just as we got in the attic. And I asked him, I said, what did you want for the bank? Well, he says, I don't think I'd want to sell it. So time went on, and we finished doing what we were supposed to do, all this stuff out. And later on in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock, he comes to the plant, and he gives me the bank.
Now, Bill LaBelle,
That was Bill Spellman. That's Stuart Dresser's uncle. Or
Mrs. Dresser was a Spellman.
see, no, that was his grand. See, this is Dresser was a Spellman.
Yes,
and
that was her.
And then that was her grandfather's brother.
Okay, and Stuart is her son, and he's works for the government.
Yeah.
Now, the house it came from, the Spellman house, is where George Tatro lives today,
Yeah.
which is directly across the road, kitty corner, to where the ski factory was. And a beautiful house, and
They used to have a tennis court where they built that plant there.
they did it right there,
Yeah,
yeah.
the tennis court. Every summer they'd come from Chicago. Stuart Dresser's mother, they lived in Chicago. Her father was teacher there. And they'd come back here in the summertime and they played tennis.
Mrs. Dresser was Dick Spellman's sister. Dick Spellman, the ball player, a young fellow that I knew back when he was my age, a little younger, when I lived in Chazy. He a blonde, a great ball player, and now lives out west. Saw him when I went to Mrs. Dresser's funeral. Hadn't seen him for years. But this is a very heavy. This probably weighs 3
It's a
pounds
nice bank,
or more.
real nice
Very
bank.
nice bank. And you see on the side, it's very ornate. You see here's I guess that's one of the explorers. On that side.
The Roman soldier or something.
Okay, see, they got the bird on his head, and same thing on the other side. You see how ornate. I have no idea what this cost when you bought it, but it was a very unusual and very nice collectible. And Bill foresaw this back then, and you'll notice he was going up the stairs, and he said, "You want to sell that?" First thing he wants to buy. We'll take another short break here before we get into the mechanical banks.
I have a lot of these still bank, but maybe it's a lot of that.
Of course, another whole group of banks from the still are the kinds that are movable or mechanical, Bill,
Yeah.
right? Do you remember the first one you got of that?
No, I don't. I think it was this Tammany.
Okay, well,
I'm pretty sure that was the one.
that would be back in the just
Well,
after
back-
the war, huh? Tammany Hall.
That was in
You
the
see-
30s probably. I bought that.
The man moves here.
Well, what you do, you take and you put the coin.
Holds it.
I
Holds it
can't
in
see
it.
from here.
Okay, you see, he holds it in his hand. There's a slot right there. See. Now, is it just the weight?
Yeah, that's the weight.
Now, you ready? Now watch. Well, now, if you I don't know if you saw that or not, but let's let you see this again. See here. Tammany Hall, of course.
Tammany Hall in New York City. I don't know if they're still there. They still have that era now.
Of course,
Years ago, that was quite a place.
Oh yeah, of course, Tammany Hall. You used to talk about Tammany because there was supposed to be some graft and things.
Oh, there was
the
plenty of that,
politicians and this is where he's waving. You put your hand in his money jar,
And he shakes his head as he goes in.
and you see there's the slot. So he's demonstrated that one.
They like to see these things work, the kids.
If I were, excuse me, if I had these banks and I demonstrated, I'd have you bring your own money. And I wouldn't be using my own money. I'd have you. All right, so then this is one type, and here's another where the penny will go right there. And there's a little lever. Now, we're not being derogatory, but this was called right in the back. It says the Jolly Nigger Bank. You know, today it's a word you're not supposed to use. However, at that time it was used pretty openly, and it was just an expression. And it's right on the bank, and you don't talk about the Jolly
Years ago,
Negro Bank.
nobody thought anything
No,
of it.
we did. It wasn't done derogatory.
No,
it was
no, it wasn't
an
quite
expression. But so you see his eyes, and there's two of the banks, and then there's another one here. Now let Bill explain this. Now some of these he won't function completely because of the springs. You don't want to break it, but you put the penny right
This
there.
is called a boy stealing watermelons. The little boy goes to grab the watermelon, and the dog comes out of the doghouse, and the coin falls in.
You see the hand go here too, see? So we won't be doing this a lot of motion. I'm sure Calvin got that because these are old and they you don't want to break them
Just
either.
like everything else.
Yeah.
The metal.
Yeah. Very, very heavy. I must tell you here, folks. Very, very heavy.
There's a nice one. A lot
This
of
is
the
a
kids
beautiful.
like to see that
Let
one.
me just so you can see in here the two little birds,
Eagle and eaglets.
all right, and the big eagle, and you see there's like a dog here and a head, and this I guess is a snake back here, isn't it? That's supposed to look like the head of a snake.
That's it's possible.
So, Bill, go ahead. Show us what you're going to do here. The beak opens up.
Now you run it there.
All right, I want to tell you what happens. Now, when the money goes down, we want you to see the mouth of the little birds will open up. I got to go slow. You see the little birds move? Their mouths open up.
And she drops the coin in
She
there.
drops the coin into the
And
net.
I could take it this way probably too, eh?
Very, very.
Well, they figured that out. I don't know.
Yep. And if you look at it in the antique books, you'll find that these are, they're collectible, and there are certain people who want to go again.
From there
Ready,
you can
Calvin?
see the little bird. You see that okay?
This course, to tell your kids to save money is one thing. This encouraged them because they saw motion.
The children, my grandchildren come in, they like that. They
Sure.
put a penny or something like that just to see how they work. They do that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Very much so. Here is. Want to move those out?
Very well, if you want, later.
Okay, we'll do this and we'll take a short break. This is, tell us about this one, Bill.
That's a Baki mule, or you can call it anything. When you press the lever, right there, the thing goes up and he goes down like that.
Now you don't want, of course, you want him to fall because these are old, and that's why he's held on to it. See this?
See?
And then the money, which is in his mouth, you see, the money is here, the coin.
You can do it.
And now-
I can do it and
Go
watch
ahead,
it.
Bill.
So
Don't let
you
it
watch
fly.
it and you go the coin like that.
And it falls right into the little slot on top. See?
So that it's figured just right. That's a nice one. I like that.
That's called. I don't know if there's a name or always.
Spies a mule. That's the name of it. Always spies a mule. That means always despise a mule, but they used to say spies and they, you know.
Okay. Now this.
Always spies a mule.
Always despise. Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
despise
okay.
mule.
There's the. You remember where you got that one, Bill?
No, that's some auction someplace.
Okay. If any of these you remember any people at all, you know, if you
No.
give us their
My
name.
God,
and
you
we-
don't even know who
No.
lives in there.
No. Well, let's take the Jonah whale
Jonah
here.
and the whale.
Jonah and the whale, and it's on both sides. It says Jonah. Now that weighs close to 5 pounds. That is not.
And you put the coin right there, and it's just like they're throwing Jonah in the whale's mouth.
Okay. Then there's a little lever here. Okay, gal. Mechanical banks, and I bet there are people out there who have never put their hands on a mechanical bank, and you'll see them. A little lever right
Put it
here.
up and go slow and put it so they can see. Because you see good over there. You see?
Okay.
He goes around and
You see now he moves. You see he actually moves on a.
drops it.
Now
in.
I got to go a little faster. See? Whoops! I didn't do it. That one very good. Jonah and the whale, and this is what I'm pushing right here. See, there's a little lever, and that's what makes the mechanical part of the bank. See, and if you'll just look here. See it? They move on. Jonah's moving on the base of the bank, and then the whale opens up.
You know, we've never had an instant replay in any of your shows, Bob. Well, we have an instant replay on that one right now.
An instant replay, bringing it.
Sam will put an instant replay on the tape.
Okay, we're going to have an instant replay
Of the last
on the last one for Sam. If Sam is listening, when he puts this on, we're going to have that over again. You're going to see that over again. That's a beautiful bank. This has got to be one of your most desirable. Would you say that, Bill?
Yeah, but it's a good one.
Okay, we'll take a short
I
break.
like it. The kids like it.
Oh, yeah. Take a short break, get rid of these, and come right back. Thanks for watching Hometown Cable. It's because of people like you that we are able to meet with people like this and show you what is happening, and just interesting people. A lot of people know Bill LaBelle. Bill LaBelle, I remember one time I did this to him, and it's just like touching a brick wall right here. This man is as solid as a...
You know I got that? Hauling bricks on a hod.
Yeah?
I haul about a quarter of the bricks on the chapel on University of VM,
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
1926.
But how do you keep it?
Work in the garden. Like you've been working in the garden.
And your wife keeps you busy. Does she keep you real busy? Your wife?
Well, I try to keep her busy.
Oh, you got to say one thing about Bill LaBelle. He's honest, see? We'll be right back. We're back again, and this one here, Bill.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. You said there are reproductions of these
Oh, yeah.
around, you know, but
There is of Uncle Sam. But they're not as fine as this here.
No.
The casting is not as good.
Now, you ready to go here?
Yeah.
So we put the penny in his hand.
And he drops it into his bag.
Yep. See, you push this down, the bag opens up, see?
And he see his mouth going, and he
And his old whiskers.
his
move around,
old goatee goes.
see? You see, I don't think you'll find these out at any auctions anymore that we
You
go
don't
to.
see them anymore.
You don't see them in too many shops. They're pretty well in the hands of collectors now. And of course, you didn't have one of these when you were young, Bill, because
never even knew anything about him.
no, you didn't have any money to save.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, did you ever think that why you like? I tell people I like things because I never had much when I was young, and today I want it because I never had
Well, I
it.
used to watch, and I don't know, it's just born in me to like
Yeah.
old stuff,
Yeah.
real old stuff. And I figured you save it. It's not for ourselves. Somebody else will have it later on.
Yep.
Somebody's got to be around to save it for the future.
Yeah. Let me tell you another thing that over the years, I've prided myself in that I enjoy talking with older people. If you want to learn something, you're not going to learn too much from young people younger than you, and up on computers and things. But if you want to learn what was happening, you've got to talk to someone who lived it, like Mr. LaBelle, Mrs. LaBelle. And like you say, he raised 10 children, and you were saying you were making $85 a week for a while, but yet he got there. And when you had something, you appreciated it.
That's right.
You appreciated what you got.
Some people will buy something, and if they say, well, I'll make a couple dollars, they sell it.
Yep.
Instead of holding on to it, the value keeps going up. The value never goes down.
Now, a lot of these banks were black people. And I don't know the reason. I'm not a bank collector, and I don't know much about them. But here's another, see? Much the same order as this.
Stump speaker.
The stump, there's the old carpetbagger thing. And, of course, the coin would go down into the... And you see his chin move, see? Ready? Stump speaker.
Yeah, stump speaker.
Again, very, very heavy. There's no names of the companies on this or anything, Bill?
As a Stevens,
Very few.
Stevens
companies on some of these?
I don't know.
Now,
The Stevens company made a lot of different kind of things. There was other company, but that was the main one.
Stevens.
No, yeah.
Okay, patent pending. Now here's the patent on this one, June the 8th, 1886. That's 109 years ago, 3 days from now.
That doesn't mean it was made right that
No,
year.
it could have been built,
Well, that's when it
1900, but that's when it was patented, the first one.
So it wasn't made not long after that.
Right. So you're talking 109 years there. Now,
I don't know.
put that on the side. Now this is see if this one has anything on the bottom. This was patented July 28, 1882, and the U.S. patent, it was in England before, August the 8th, 1882. And explain what this is, Bill.
Paddy and his pig.
Okay, so Paddy, but the English, it was in English.
Paddy and his pig.
Now,
Bob was surprised when he
now
saw
this
that
one
go.
is very different. Now this one is going to strike that penny and send it flying into his mouth.
See, go slow. Like
You won't even see it. See right there?
He sticks his tongue out and everything.
Okay.
I'll take that off and see.
See the pig comes up. Now, watch closely. It's gone. Did you get that, Calvin? You think?
I think so.
Now watch that penny, folks. This is a good one. Money goes that fast today, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Pause just for a few seconds. Let's say I'm going to replay on it. We just won't talk for about 3 seconds.
Okay, he'll run a replay on that. Maybe you can even get it slow motion. See something, right? You watch how that goes. All right, so this is Paddy and the Pig, and it was first in England. Then it was patented over here later in the year. Very collectible. Did you get these in this area, Bill?
Not all here. Some of these were bought in Canada. We used to go to auctions in Canada, like.
But you didn't go like to Boston or
No.
out of that far out of the area, huh?
No.
This is a ball player, 3 ball players.
Dark down battery.
Okay.
See how it gets ready to bat, and the guy there he's the catcher. See how that opens up there when you press the lever?
Yep. You see how that opened right up?
And then you go like this, You snap it, but I don't like to snap it. You go,
Right. You would put the penny was here, and as you
I gotta repair it to make it
yeah,
work.
as you snap it in there, it would send it across and
right
throw it
through there,
inside.
yeah. You see?
You know, and when you go to museums and so forth, you know, it says don't touch, because every time you touch, there's a certain wear, there's a certain thing.
Yeah.
So you be very careful. This is a very intricate, you know, and
It's a very good bank too.
Yep.
Good one.
it's a nice old bank, and this doesn't seem to have anything underneath that I can read here. And that's where you took the money out.
A lot of them were made by the Stevens Company, but we're back in the early 1900s.
Yep. Now, July, oh, come on. Patented July, 17th, 1983. So obviously in the 80s, 1880s rather, is when this got to be a real big,
Yeah.
and then they built them probably for 20 or 30 years after that. But tell us what this one does, Bill. Tell us the whole story
That's
here.
a lot. Lion and monkeys. So see, the monkeys are up in the tree, and the lion's right there waiting, trying to watch for them, trying to get a hold of them. So they take and I don't know if they're supposed to be a coconut or what they're drawing to them. Yes, you're supposed to do it fast.
We want to try to make it slow motion for you. But
Okay.
we'll,
Wait a
you
minute.
get it all right, Bill?
Yeah, there.
They work. They work
Oh,
every
yeah.
time.
You want to try another one? You got to get right in the middle, so you're ready there. Oh, I can't see from here if it's right straight in the middle.
Okay.
Oh, it should work. It should.
I don't think he's hungry anymore.
Oh. We'll go a little slower.
There he goes, right down inside.
Probably go too fast.
Yeah.
That's lion and monkeys. That's heavy too, that one.
1883. Not this, but that's the patent. So when you see a patent on the bottom of something, it doesn't mean it was made then.
No.
That means when the first one was made and when it was patented. But it could have been made for 5, 6, 8, 10 years afterward, or maybe even longer. But
Maybe a year next year, the
Yeah.
following year, nobody knows.
it gives you at least a sense that it's over 100 years old when the idea anyway. And one other one here now called the Trick Dog. You have the dog, you have the penny, you have the clown, you hoop, and the barrel. But the hole is on the barrel.
Yeah.
You use this one, and it went in.
Yeah, try another one while he's watching it. You put it in there. You're
Okay.
right there. You can see better than I. Get right in the middle.
Okay, that's the other thing, you know, you try to put it where you never worry about what to do with your pennies at Bill LaBelle. Ready? Huh?
That's really fast. Try it again.
Okay.
Put the pen right in the middle, because if it's lopsided to one side,
Right in the middle.
this one here used to work like that too. And then you use it a little too much, and then
Yeah.
the piece broke off the back.
All right? Try and do that in slow motion, Sam. We'll give you a 5-second break here, a 6-second break. Now, I've never known Bill LaBelle very well. I've always say hello to him and so forth, and I've got to know him a little bit more in the last 2-3 years, and he's a man of many, many hats. He can talk about a lot of things, got a great memory, and he's also a scavenger. He picks up things, even if they don't cost a lot of money. Now look, here's something that people took down from a telephone pole or a tree and threw to the dump. They do it over and they tear them up. This is one that Bill got a hold of somewhere, Clinton County Fair, Route 22B, Plattsburgh, New York. Don't know the year, probably 20, 30 or more years old.
Oh yeah,
Probably
yeah.
40,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know. Well, I'll try to find out how old this
They
is.
don't make them like that anymore.
No, you see now this is very thick, and I had him signed in the back here. No, I didn't. The other one I did. On the Midway Amusements of America, and it's something that is part of the history. And eventually, this will go when I get rid of it. I don't sell things like this, and he don't sell things. But he said he has no more use for it. He's had it in the attic, so I'll give it to our local historical office if we ever can get one here, where this stuff can be displayed, you know. But that's the county. But the most important one he gave me was right in my backyard. Look at this. Now this has two collectible reasons. Northway Drive-In, number 1, exit 42, so we knew it was after 1960. In Champlain, there's the telephone number. My backyard, I had a speaker in my house to watch these movies. And it's also very important because of people who collect Star Wars, looking for posters. He gave Calvin some posters on Star Wars. I'm not a collector of that, but I'm a collector because it's Northway Drive-In, and I thank you very much for that, Bill.
And that used to be a racetrack at one time.
Oh, we'll let you talk about that. Now here, look at, see back here, I had him given to Bob Venn, June the 5th, 1995, William H. LaBelle, Senior, which should be there.
That's 1977.
How'd you know that? Oh, you knew that because he knows Star Wars. Yeah, but he knows it's 1977 because he knows when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Bill, you mentioned that it was
It's a racetrack, years and years ago. The the harness racing. You know?
Uh-huh.
And Bigelow owned that.
Bigelow?
Yeah, that was his farm, the Bigelow farm. He owned that where Hicks's trailer court, he owned all that back in there.
I know there used to be a pig farm there. As you head down, maybe down around where Emery lives, on maybe 400 feet from my house, and in the back I have a picture showing all the pigsties back there.
That must have been Bigelow's, because he owned all that, way down to the river in the back, I think. Then down to the road. That used to be a road that went there that wasn't used too much them days.
You know, we could take a picture today of an open field, and we don't. And maybe 20 years from today, that'll be all filled in with houses, and you say, gosh, I wish this used to look like, you know. And Calvin and I went out, how many years ago, Calvin? You've never shown that. 89 on, I think it was the last day of the year. The last day of the year, we got in the car.
Last day of the decade.
Okay, of the decade, and we got in the car, and I drove, and he had his camera, and it was raining. It was a nasty day, and we went up and down the various roads in the town of Champlain and village, and throughout this point, and took pictures of both sides of the road with his camera, and just to show how things have changed over the years. Now that's 6 years ago.
I've been going around there lately, and you wouldn't believe that all the homes that's been put up.
Oh yeah, up behind Morris Park, it's amazing.
From here to Shazy, and all over.
Yep.
Look from here to Ross Point.
Yep. And we sometimes forget, we don't see this, it's so piecemeal as it goes, but...
On Prospect Street, there used to be only three houses up there. Now that's on both sides.
Okay, now I have a couple of pictures that I was loaned by Art and Doris Picard, and I had my enlargements made again in Plattsburgh. Now, I don't know if we can freeze this, Calvin. This has a sealing on it, and it's enclosed in plastic, and it might shine some. Okay? You've got it frozen. Okay. As we look at the picture, Bill, the center of this are the two buildings way back where the Grand Union is, and the A&P. You remember that very well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right down there that Jimmy Chevalier had a store there for a while.
Before
he was a manager. Then from there he went down over here.
On the right.
Yeah.
Down on the very right. Yeah. This is taken, we think, about 1946.
And right on the corner there years ago, back in 1917, there was a fountain.
In the middle of the...
Right on the sidewalk, right there. And on one side was for horses to drink, and on the other side is the people.
Now, on which side of the street was that?
Right in front of the old Grand Union, right on the third.
That's where the Masons building, as you come over the bridge from the KFC's, it'd be right on your right, those two buildings.
There was a fountain. I don't know whatever happened to it. Probably was busted up, you know.
Yep.
And there was a dummy. They always call it the dummy, right there, the light right there.
In the middle of the road there, yes. Now, this was, we think, was the spring of 1946 when there was a bad flood. You said it flooded and came up near the old Methodist church?
Right in back of Cedar Street, you came out by the American House.
Uh-huh. And that's where this picture is taken
jammed
from.
up above the bridge there. There's no LaFontaine was there at the time.
Uh-huh.
And it jammed up above the bridge and all that went right. And there's a door Duquette lived on that little street that went to the river. Cedar Street went to the river. He lived there and he woke up and the water was up almost to the top of the bed. Oh,
Wow.
He just got out of the bed, he was right in the water.
Now this, of course, this way, we haven't had floods like this for some time. In this picture on the right-hand side, up close on the right, the Bill, what we got on the screen is this first building here on the
Kaufman had
left.
a store
That was
there.
Kaufman's store. That was
Yeah,
Ted
then-
Kaufman.
Then Bert Jefferson had a little ice cream parlor right there.
Okay, right next, just to the right of there. Now,
Yeah.
Kaufman's store used to belong to Trepanier.
Trepanier at first,
Trepanier,
yeah.
yeah.
Then I guess Kaufman bought it from
Yes.
Trepanier.
Yeah.
Trepanier used to live where John Zerlo up on Church Street on the corner
On the
there.
corner of Pine and where, yeah,
Pine and Church.
right.
Where Greg Martin was.
Where Greg Martin lives there today, right.
Yeah, that's what because that's where he brought up his kids. He bought that house and
Uh-huh. And then as you go down, you have the ice cream stand, and the next one to the right was the
Bert
meat market.
Jefferson. There was a meat market. That was what thing was his name now? Gilbert Godet.
Gilbert Godet had a meat market there in the center.
And then there was the LaFontaine sisters had a place at
They had a beauty parlor.
beauty parlor.
Yeah, there was a law.
And one time, I think Orville Dunn
had a law
had
office.
his office there. You had to move out from here, and he moved over here.
Yep. I think he was in there when
And he
the
was there,
fire,
his office was there when that burned.
the whole thing burned. Exactly. And then just to the right, out of the picture, there was a nightclub there, or a dance hall.
There was Euless LaVenture. What happened? The place burned. He started that place, and then when after it burned, he just then
Yeah.
he bought that. He moved to the American House.
Okay. Now the right across from the old Lewis Hardware, or now the Auto Parts of Champlain, that little parking lot before you get to Mrs. Castine's, is where that was located. Laventure's dance hall, and
Mom
bar.
also had a lunch cart there at one time. It was just on the end of the LaFontaine sisters. She had a lunch cart there.
But now this,
Mom Russo.
I was thinking here is a flood. Here's
Her
another.
daughter, I think her daughter had married to Gaston Manette.
Her daughter, Mount Brusso's daughter.
Yeah.
Now here's another picture. I don't know if, for Calvin here. Overall, what you're looking at, this white house was the Picard house, and it burned. And then there was a house just to the south of it here. The next house left some time ago. There was a house. Are we frozen in, Calvin? Okay. When you look at Picard's house, there was a house just to the left that was gone. I don't remember the house even. And it's gone now. And as you go down, this is the big house of Frank Manette's, and house on the corner, which originally was the Albion,
LaFontaine.
and their two daughters was Agnes,
Mildred and Viola.
yeah, Viola, who married Frank Manette, and
I guess if she has a daughter that's around here. She has a daughter. I never knew her daughter, their daughter.
Viola's daughter that
Yeah.
lives in Denver.
Never knew her.
And Mildred, who still lives
She's
in the
down
housing,
here, eh?
the housing, she was raised here. Across the road, these white porches is the Anktil house, and right over here on the right-hand side is the big Costello block, which was across from the village hall.
Uh-huh.
Now that burned, right?
Yeah.
Now, did someone die in that fire? Do you remember?
Yeah, somebody died in the French village at that house burnt in the French village. Wait, my God, that's a long time ago. I was working Anchor Motor, just about where Hector Cardin's trailer
Oh, there were
is
two
there.
children burned there.
There's one kid that burned there that I know.
Okay, now this is Lower Church Street looking north.
One fire that was there on Back Street there that Pat Perrier's wife burnt. And that,
Oh, yes,
that, next to that building was right next to the river.
In behind here. There's one other picture. I'll get it frozen on here first, and then Bill can tell us about this, because this is was a pretty well-known house that is no longer there. It burned. Okay, this was on where you went down to that where you said the flood was. This is right on the corner of Cedar and Church, and that's Rudy Andres's
There used
house.
to be a little, somebody was used to have a little store there.
The
at
candy
one
store,
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
DuPont,
Yeah, and Isidore Ducat was living down in here,
in the back.
in
on
the back, when he woke up.
With the
and
water.
The water was almost to the top of the mattress.
Yep. This, Rudy and Joyce Andres were living
The
here.
woman that run that little store, she went out with Bill Earl, and her family didn't want her to marry Bill Earl. And so Bill Earl, that's when he cut his pants down short, and he never wore long pants after that.
I've heard this story before. I don't know if you had told us, but I've heard that story before. That
She had a place up on Church Street, further up. Then she moved down to there, to the right at the corner. That place is gone now.
Yep, and that burned in. And she had a little store,
Yeah.
right when you see that doorway, and she sold candy. They said that was,
Yeah.
my wife remembers that, so that was happening in the 40s, that she was selling candy there. And it's
Because she had that place up on Church Street long before that. So, top of Church Street,
on
somewhere.
top of Church Street, you
Yeah.
had one. Okay, so this just a picture I happen to have. Again, I'm indebted to Arthur and Doris. And we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for watching Hometown Cable. And we're on every Sunday with what's going on here every day. Of the rest of the week, there's programs by Sam and Calvin. I told you, all we got to do is mention a topic, and this man and his wife will tell you about it. I recently got a phone call from my wife, said that Marshall was looking for me, Marshall Maynard. We're getting ready for our reunion, and this man says Marshall Maynard. Of course, he worked at the cemetery, and what happened, you said?
He broke his leg. We were going around the curve there where my wife's parents were living at the time.
That's right, next to the Champlain Telephone Company in St. Mary's, going down that hill.
Where used to live.
He was sliding, huh?
Yeah. I wasn't there,
You
but that's
remember about what year that would have been? Frances says she's not dressed for TV this morning, but she'll talk to us a little bit anyway in the background. Do you remember about when that was? How old was he?
About 1939.
Okay.
That's the time it happened, 1939.
And so he fell off the sled, or did he run into something?
A car ran.
Car?
Yeah,
Yes.
car hit him, broke his leg.
And they brought him
Brought him in
into
the house.
your house?
Yeah. We were living at Gregoire's.
Yes.
And then the ambulance was called.
1938. There you are, Marshall. These people know you too. Marshall Maynard's had.
Well, he knows me because we talk about that once in a while.
Yes, Marshall recently had both hips the past couple of years operated on. He's had some trouble and doing very, very well. And he's working with me. We're very busy getting ready for our Champlain High School, Champlain Central School reunion. And he keeps that Glenwood Cemetery in very, very good shape. Matter of fact, we've talked about going up to Glenwood and doing a story on an old cemetery, particularly a very beautiful cemetery with a lot of history up there. Plenty more is buried up there, a lot of other people that helped found Champlain. One of the other things I brought over was a picture, and this is courtesy of Arthur Tremblay from Rouse's Point.
It must be 1918 or before, because at the fall of 1918, the Volstead Act was passed.
Right.
And Prohibition came on, then all that stuff went out.
Now, see, I knew that the Prohibition was there, but I had forgotten it was called the Volstead Act. That's
Yeah.
what it was called.
Yeah.
And Prohibition came out in early 1919, so this was before then. And this is a place called...
Fall of 1918, and
Yep.
I remember when I was in Winooski, everything, there used to be a bar room, and all at once, there was no more.
Yeah. Now, you may have heard about this place, and I know it was in a picture I have of 1907 in Champlain, New York, and the place is called
The Arcade.
the Arcade.
I don't know if it was called then, but they called the Arcade when there was a pool room.
Yep, it was located on the corner of Main Street
And Elm.
and Elm, that where you turn to go across the bridge toward the KFC or the funeral home. It was that brick building on the right next to Kaufman's store. And it was operated by Euless.
Not that one. That was old Dave LaBelle's.
Dave LaBelle's right here. And I think that's him here. And he was a grandfather, I think, of Arthur, great-grandfather.
Grandfather of Arthur.
Arthur Tremblay.
Arthur Tremblay.
And here you
And
see the
Hoover.
bar and the old Moxie. I say, what is Moxie? They got about 3 signs in here. You remember what Moxie?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about
I remember
Moxie.
seeing them going around the road like a car. It was a horse the guy was riding on with a wheel to drive.
Okay, what was Moxie? It wasn't a
He
car.
was drinking something like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's a soft drink.
Yeah.
Moxie.
soft drink.
It was big back then, and
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
see a lot of old signs with it.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a Moxie sign here. You got several in here. And there's the liquor sign in here. And it was located see the wainscoting on the wall and the spittoons down here?
Oh yeah, they all had spittoons them days.
Did you drink it when you were a kid, Bob?
I never had, no, I wasn't, didn't have it with, I might have had.
People have all said you had a lot of mop.
I might have had a Moxie back in the 30s. But I'll tell you, if Moxie was available in the 1930s, we couldn't afford to buy one, Bill, could
Yeah,
we?
that's right.
We didn't spend a nickel or a dime. Remember the old, in the early 40s, late 30s, they said, Pepsi-Cola is the drink for you,
Yeah.
twice as much for a nickel too.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola was 6 ounces, and Pepsi came out with 12-ounce bottles.
But years ago, these record players, they used to call them Nickelodeon.
Yep.
Then that guy said, I've never heard that.
You know,
Nickelodeon.
one of the things I can remember, I don't have a memory that Bill does, but when I lived in Keysville, I was 7 years old, and my mother would do her trading, her shopping, once a week. And my father didn't make much money, my stepfather, Lyman Castine, and she would buy a 6-pack or maybe four bottles of Pepsi for the week.
Yeah.
I had a 12-ounce that I could drink any time during the week. And I used to, she'd say, well, do you want your Pepsi today? And I'd say, no, I'm going to save mine. And I'd save mine till all the others had drunk theirs. And I would have it sometimes because I was 7 years old. And it was a big treat to us, a big, big treat when we had some. Well, anyway, in the back, behind this door, you can see a couple stools. And they had a little lunch room back there, I understand.
They had
And they
little
sold,
stairs you went up, and then it right in the back.
yep, sold pie, cake, donuts, and so forth. And there may have been to the left here, a pool table at that time. But later, when you came back,
It was the pool room.
the whole thing was a pool room,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. And Eugene Roberts was taking care of it. Now he moved from here down to the Roberts moved out of town. The Alfred Robert was the youngest one, and they moved down to Troy or somewhere down there, East Island. Eugene, yeah, everybody called him Buck Roberts.
We have,
Like Eugene Govan, they call him Buck. I don't know, Buck Govan. Buck Govan married Ellen Falcon.
is that from the Falcon,
Yeah.
Falcon family?
Yeah.
That same family?
Ellen, she was a nurse. Sir.
You know, I'm indebted to Arthur Tremblay and Marianne for letting me take this picture to make a copy. And anybody out there who has old pictures of Champlain, I'd be very pleased to borrow them, if I could, and get it to Plattsburgh where I can make a bigger copy so we would have it for our museum eventually. And a picture like this, I've heard so much about the arcade, but never saw the inside.
Well,
And
I
it's-
played pool there a good many times. That's the only place I was in town. We'd go.
Did you win?
Oh yeah, I was a pretty good player.
Pretty good player,
Well,
huh?
my brother Clarence, he's a pro.
Did you play for money, Bill?
Never.
Nickels or anything
no,
like
I
that?
didn't care much for that.
Now, you paid for games to play, right?
5 cents a game.
5 cents a game. For each
Yeah,
player?
Just a pastime.
Yeah. Was it for each player a nickel or just for the whole game?
For the game.
For the game.
Yeah.
A nickel.
Oh yeah.
I ran a pool hall in Shazy for a while when I was going to college. I bought a table. We had it downstairs where Sam Rice, at that time it was Art Tremblay, I think, Art Jarvis rather, and we used to get 10 cents a game for each player. Each player. And I ran it there in the evening, and he and I shared. We had a license, had the whole operation. And then I brought the pool table to Champlain, and I had it at the Knights of Columbus. And I loaned it to them for 4 or 5 years, where we played. And when I built my house here in '54, maybe it was 3 years that there, I had it put through my window in the back. The big windows weren't in yet, and to put it in my basement. I had it for years. And then I sold it to Bobby LaFountain, Agnes LaFountain, and Charlie's
Well,
son.
I worked in a bowling alley in Winooski for 2 years, and it was 5 cents a game.
To pick up the
I
pin.
worked there 2 years
Yeah.
from when I was 12 years old to 14.
Do you remember putting 2 pins in each hand?
Yeah, but they weren't like this. Today, they were the candle pins. They were
Oh, the candle.
They were
Oh.
about this big.
Oh, they were hard to
And they
stand up.
used like cannonballs. They're about this big, cast iron. And boy, those things went down that alley.
Now, Bill, off camera, before we started, you mentioned to me that there was a cannon next to the arcade.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, that cannon was there in 1917, but they blew it up in the fall of 1917 for the scrap.
Do you think that might have come from the Fort Montgomery?
It came from
It
Fort
did come from
Montgomery.
Fort
It had
Montgomery.
to come from there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know why, what the heck. After they blew it up, they had piece all over, so you couldn't find half of it.
Yeah. I'm surprised, you mean it just blew up in the
They
area?
filled it up, I guess, with dynamite. Old
Okay.
George Manette, I guess he done that kind of work. He lived right in the back on Willow Street,
Uh-huh.
back of my mother's house, right on Willow, right across the
I'm
back.
surprised you don't have
At
a
the
kid.
time, he was also raising red fox.
Uh-huh.
Probably the first one in the country to raise red fox, I don't know. Go back 1916 something.
I'm surprised you don't have a cannon in your yard. Cannonball and a cannon, that's right up.
Yeah, today you put a cannon and first you know it's going in the morning. Unless it's one that weighs a ton.
You mean you think people take things today?
Boy, you can tell what's going on around here.
They think everything is theirs, huh?
Yeah.
They just don't, there's
Anything
no,
that's worth something they can get $1 for.
you know,
Take something worth 1,000, they'll sell it for 5.
believe it or not, on Memorial Day, well, I don't mean this, but the Legion put up a flag in our cemetery for Memorial Day. They're dedicated, and they put flags up for the little kids, and put a big one up on our flagpole. I was told 2 days ago our flag is gone. Someone stole our flag, or someone took it down in the raid and didn't bring it back, but it's gone.
Yeah,
Now, I can't imagine them stealing an American flag,
They'll
Bill.
do it, they'll do it. Look at the things going around Plattsburgh all over, breaking in houses.
Yeah, well, that I can understand because they want the money. You know, they want it. But a flag, they can't do much with a flag. It's just,
So it's something about some woman had something in her front yard, so decorating a lawn, and somebody
yeah,
stole them.
takes it right off. We'll take a short break. We still got pennies right here. Maybe we'll play pool or something for those pennies. Those are some remnants of the bank.
2 years in a bowling alley, setting up those spins. 5 cents a game you get it.
You get-
Making $1.50 a week.
Yeah, you get a tip once in a while, though, huh?
Very seldom them days, they didn't have much money going around.
Yeah. I set up pins back in the old dash.
And they were tough pins. Today they're simple to put up there.
Excuse me.
Then they were this tall
Yeah.
and about this big. And boy, then things flew up to the ceiling when they hit them all over.
Yeah, we had to sit in the back after you picked
them
them up.
Side, you have to watch that stuff.
And then we bring our feet up in the air, huh?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Nash Bowling Alley down on River Street in Plattsburgh? In behind where Montgomery Ward is, down near Powell Blaze?
I never was in it.
I worked in that one, setting up pins when I was 12, 13 years
It
old.
was 1920
14.
to 1922. Spring 1920. Then I got working papers to work in the cotton mill, $6 a week.
And you were lucky to have it.
And you know, when I went to get my working papers at Edmonds High School, there was Lyman C. Hunt. He was superintendent of schools of all Vermont. And they asked me my name. I said, where I was from. They said, you got a brother named Euclid? I said, yeah. He said, you got one named Clarence? I said, yeah. Couldn't figure out how come he knew. When he first started out, he was principal in Champlain here at the school.
Is that right? Oh, so he knew you well, knew the
He
family.
knew the family, the LaBelle family, my brother's name and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I told that to Danny Marr, and Danny Marr never knew that. Funny, they don't check on nothing.
You know, when we're talking about this,
That's where he started.
yeah.
He was principal here. Then from here he went to Vermont to head of the school in Vermont.
What was his name again?
Lyman C. Hunt.
And we talked about Jimmy Misek and how he knows Jimmy Misek. Jimmy Misek, if you remember, told us how he got out of school so he could start in business with his father when he was 14 years old, and got an education the hard way. But he had the advantage of being with his father. Poor Bill didn't have that man. Did you have any uncles or close men in your family at all? Or
Well, the closest one was Clarence, and he was 6 years older than I
that was your
was.
brother?
Then Euclid was 9 years older.
Huh?
But when Euclid left from here, he went to Burlington. He got a job in a woolen mill, and he ended up being foreman in the card room. And then in the fall 1924, I was working here in the woolen mills, in the cotton mills in Lakeside in Burlington, and they start laying off. So I was out of work. And he called me. He said, "Come down." I said, "Maybe you have a job." So I took the train from Winooski, went down, and got a job down there working nights
Where was that?
in Claremont, New Hampshire.
Oh, in Claremont, New Hampshire.
6 at night to 6 in the morning. 12 hours, $20. 60 hours a week. And that was only when I went down there, I was 16 years old. And I left to go down there. I worked there, and in the fall of 1925, they start laying off the night shift. That was at night. So we came back to Burlington. Then I got a job hauling bricks in a hod at the UVM chapel there, the University of Vermont chapel. I cared about it. I started there, there was snow on the ground, and I ended up with snow on the ground.
Now, what do you mean carrying bricks? What are you
The
talking about?
hod, 20 bricks to load.
It was like you had a.
Yeah, there's like
it
a
had
thing like this.
It's
yeah.
shaped like a V,
There's
right?
there's a thing here, and
And you
a
hold
thing, a
it,
pad for your
and you
shoulder.
pile the bricks
Like
up
when I first started, I got scabs on there, and I'd shift to the oven, scab there. After a while, I got toughened up. Didn't bother. You run up the ladder.
But you have to be careful. It didn't tip either
After you
way.
got used to it,
Did you drop many? Ever drop
Never
any?
dropped any.
Never dropped any.
when we first started, we went down to 10 bricks. Then as time went on, we kept on putting more and more. I've carried 30 bricks in one load going up ladders. That's 4 pounds of brick plus the hod.
Each.
Yeah. Carried a lot of bricks. And those two big. If you ever go there, you ever go to the UVM campus where that chapel is?
No.
No?
No, I don't
There's
think
two
so.
big slabs up there, marble. I helped the mason put them in, way up to the top.
Wasn't easy back then, but it's easy today. His hardest job today is to talk with us. We'll be right back. Hometown Cable, what's going on here? I'm Bob Venn. This is Bill LaBelle, and Senior, and Calvin Castine with the camera. You know who you are. Okay, you see this? I came in this morning, I saw it this way. And Bill said, look, what is this? And I told him I thought it was a track to get over, to get you out of the snow. Of course, I hadn't seen the other side. This is the other side, and I guess I did guess it might be something for mold, for bricks, and that's what it is. What is it, Bill? Tell us.
Brick.
And where did you get these, do you
Oh
remember?
my God, I don't know if it's a Thompson, that one arm Thompson on Church Street. I don't know if it was there or at Crook's auction on Butternut Street.
You see the handle on the bottom? And in Champlain, they made bricks. If you remember, Bennett Dane told us they had a brick factory, which would be located across from the old Harris plant, or the Kimpex, between East Street, the one that heads down to Route 11, and where Jim Daly lived. In behind Jim Daly's area, you'll see the open valley or the pits back there, and that's where they got the clay. And I guess the factory was in that area, and they would fill this up. And if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see, but there's an area on each side where apparently the water would drip out, then they would dry, then they would tip it over and let them make bricks. You don't remember that brick factory ever being there, do you, Bill? That had to be back in the late 1800s, yeah.
75, 80.
That's quite heavy, as a matter of fact. And you had said you'd bought several, right?
I got about 3 more of that up in
Well,
the attic.
The good-hearted Bill as he is, he gave me that.
It was built to work. You know?
Yeah, he gave me that, and I can have that. So it's going to be in my possession for a short time until it becomes part of the Champlain Museum, courtesy of Bill LaBelle.
I'd given stuff away to an individual like that, and then that was the last I heard of it.
Well, I really appreciate very much. Now, a couple things.
I'll find that other one someday.
Okay.
I don't know just where the hell I put it.
Here, something he kept, Burlington, probably in the 1894-95 period here. 2-cent stamp.
It's later before that. Look in the back.
Yeah, and this here, it's W.L. Laundry, Esquire, Rouse's Point, New York. It was one of the stores. 1884 is the date, and there's a letter inside that was, look at the handwriting, is what, out of Burlington. The big thing is the handwriting, and it has no monetary value other than it's just a very interesting thing. And it went to someone in Rouse's Point, see? And look at the handwriting here. Today we scribble, including myself. I do not write well. That was one, and then there's another one. Look at the envelope here. Brewers and Maltsters, Albany, New York. That Henry, I guess. Henry Laundry, Esquire, Rouse's Point, New York. 3-cent stamp.
I thought it was Herman.
18. It could be Herman. I can't.
No, there's a Y there.
It's a Henry. I think it's Henry, and that is it from Albany, New York. Quinn and Nolan, and 1882. You know. And again, W. Laundry. Maybe that's an H. They wrote fancy. Buying 3 barrels of amber ale for $18.
$6 a barrel.
In 1882. That's 113 years old right here. May 29th, just passed. And so he gave me these two, something that I will put with my Champlain Rouse's Point papers. And one other one he just picked up an envelope. Mrs. T. Hoyle, Champlain, New York, Clinton County, New York, Oakland, California, 1895. And this is where they put their wax. They used to stamp it, right, Bill, right
Yeah,
here?
so they couldn't seal them open.
Yep. Oakland, California, 1896 there. So Timothy Hoyle was an officer in the Champlain National Bank back many years ago. He built the home where Mrs.
Is it still Kaufman?
Yes. Yep. Mrs. Heck,
It's not Hector,
not
but
Hector, Kenneth.
Kenneth
Mrs. Kenneth Coffin on the corner of Chestnut and Oak Street, and related to Jackie Favreau and Della Hoyle.
great-grandfather.
Yep. And he was a very well-known man in the area, and just interesting. It's Champlain history. Other than that, you can't get a cup of coffee for this. They won't even trade you. But to me, it's a lot bit more valuable than a cup of coffee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. If you like this kind of thing. So we've been at Bill LaBelle's for the last 2 hours, and Bill, we thank you again for your time. You're always
You're welcome
you enjoy
anytime.
talking about old Champlain, and
Yeah. It brings back things that sometimes you
sure.
forget. You got to talk about that stuff to keep up to it.
you forget, Bill. You
Yeah.
don't forget.
No, but you kind of goes away in your mind, but you start thinking about it, and all at once that all comes back.
Yep.
You got to talk about it. If you don't,
When did your mother pass away, Bill?
in 1957,
How old was she?
she was born in 1870.
So she was 87 years old. Was she living with you at the time?
Well, my brother Clarence was living with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had an easier life toward the end than
Toward
she
the
did in the
end,
beginning,
oh, yeah.
huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Didn't have to work so hard.
No, didn't have to work at all.
Yeah.
Well, she worked when she came back from Burlington. She worked. My wife knew her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And my kids, Barbara and Beverly, used to go there. They wanted to make donuts. So she'd make donuts for them. They'd come back down the street with donuts in a bag.
Did she ever drive a car?
No.
Never drove?
She used to rent a horse and buggy from John Moore for $1 a day. And she'd go to see her mother in Canada, about 5 miles.
It took a while to get there, too. You go 5 miles. That must have taken her
Well, them days, yeah.
an hour to drive up 5 miles, huh?
Well, them days was all dirt roads. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where the Cussanos is up there now. You go through Beaver Meadows, it's just mud. Then she spend the day there with her mother, then she'd come back and
Uh-huh.
on a Sunday. Then after that, probably never go back in another 3-4 months.
Was she healthy up until the time she passed
Well,
away?
she had a leg amputated.
Oh,
She
good.
had I think hardening of the arteries. But after that, she was getting around just like nothing. You couldn't stop her. If you're working like that all your life, you can't stop.
No. I don't know where you might see Bill LaBelle. If you see him in the store or anywhere, just say hello to Bill LaBelle. Even if you don't know him, tell him you saw him on TV.
Buy some corn from him.
Buy some corn. You sell corn too? Yeah,
No.
stop and
No, we haven't that for the last couple of years. My wife
You
said
haven't
that-
anymore?
We weren't selling that to make money. We're selling that for our sons
Yeah.
on the farm.
You don't do that anymore?
No.
Okay, well, if you see him somewhere, you tell him you saw him on TV, what you thought of talking with us, and we'll be seeing Bill again. And we thank you very much, Bill. You got to put all these banks back where they
Well,
belong now, and
It's not much of a job.
you have a special place to put each one.
I know where they go. I don't have to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Bill LaBelle, 1908, and as young as you could be. He just gets around, and we hope you continue to have good health, Bill. And
Well, I hope so.
Don't lose that smile. You've got
My
a good
great-great-grandfather lived, I think, till he was 96.
Yeah. You've got good genes or something, huh? You've got good genes. Well, thank you very much for watching Hometown Cable. You've been watching What's Going On Here, a program. We don't always take a lot of tours, you know. There are a lot of people that we'd like to talk to, people like Bill LaBelle, that can tell us just so much about the history. And you can learn so much from our seniors, people who were here when it happened, who know what a day's work is, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we didn't have machines to do it, and the wringer washer, your mother probably had a wringer washer. And
I used to turn that thing by hand.
By hand.
These old, they made out of wood
Yes.
and with legs on outdoors to
Yeah.
crank that.
We've got one of those as an antique that we used to have in the garage. We have our patio and things. That'll be it today from Hometown Cable. If you enjoy it, why don't you join some of those other fine people who have become recent patrons of Hometown Cable. Calvin loves to see a new name up there. Of course, when it comes time for a renewal, you're always happy to see those too. And met some nice people again yesterday. Some I had never seen before who told me they'd seen us on TV from Altona. And I forgot the name. I'm going to say forget the name now. I think it's LaFave from Mr. and Mrs. LaFave. Thank you for identifying yourself to me, and thank you for your contributions to Hometown Cable. And become a patron. Hometown Cable, 1477 Ridge Road. Tell them Bob sent you. We'll see you next Sunday.
Just pull up my notepad here, so in case any information for the members. We do have a few events going on that, like to mention some numbers of people to contact if people are interested in for something. Like I said, the interview is short. Interview for a short period of time for sure.
Hello everyone, this is Calvin Castine, and we're coming at you today from beautiful downtown West Shazy. We're in front of the fire station, one of the very nice buildings in West Shazy. It's built in a style, I think, that's reminiscent of a lot of the older buildings in town, and it's a very nice structure. And we're talking to Mr. Steve Bedard, who is one of the chairman of a new event coming up this Father's Day, 1995, and we haven't got to worry about how many years this has been going on because this is the first annual. Steve, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Castine. Yeah, this is going to be the first year of hopefully many that we have here. We do help our community out quite a bit, and we're hoping that they pull through for us on Father's Day and help us out as well. We have quite a schedule of events that we're going to discuss this morning, and I hope that attracts people from all ages.
Now, it's going to be a one-day event, just Sunday, June, is it 18th?
June 18th. Actually, it's going to be Saturday and Sunday both. We're probably focusing more of our events or the attraction more people to be on Sunday. Saturday, we are going to have grass drags here, which does attract a number of people. We also have a flea market.
Let's go back to that. You're going to have what?
Grass drags, snowmobile racing on grass. And it's quite interesting. I've never seen it myself, heard a lot of things about it, but haven't really seen it. And I'm anxious to see how it works out here.
It's going to be kind of rough on your belt, I would think.
Probably rough on everything. That's correct.
So you had some people signed up to participate in that?
Yes, we do. We actually, I guess they have quite a few entries in that for the grass drags. A lot of interest that I've heard from people from the community asking, when's it going to be? I want to be there to see it.
This will be, the event's all taking place here at your field?
That's right. It's going to be taking place right behind the fire station here, down towards the rec park area, which is very nice down there. We believe we have the facilities to accommodate a lot of people, and even inclement weather won't be a problem.
So you're going to have tents then, or?
We're going to have tents, and we have the gazebo that is built down there. We do have nice shaded trees throughout the park as well for the hot weather. And we are also going to have a tent set up with first aid for people who, in case, would get some type of heat problem.
Okay, and the EMTs are probably hoping that somebody will have that problem so they can show off a little bit, right?
You're probably 100% correct. I know there's a lot of them out there that would like to do that.
Okay. Parking. Where should the people coming here expect to park?
Well, the day of the event, so we're going to have signs out for parking and so on and so forth. But it's pretty much going to be down behind the fire station. We do have fields down there that have been used for that in past years when they had conventions and other Centennial in '76, which was really quite nice. Gets people close to the events without having to walk far, and is not just a nice parking area in general.
Okay. Okay, the drag races will be what time on Saturday?
Drag races are going to be starting at 11 o'clock Saturday. The pre-registration, in case anybody wants to just come and show up that day with their snowmobile, would be starting at 10 in the morning, I believe, is when the pre-registration is. Let me just look at my calendar of events here to make sure that it's correct.
You haven't got everything memorized yet, huh?
Nothing. I don't have it all memorized. Well, we are starting at 11. They expect to run until 7 in the evening, so there is going to be quite a few snowmobiles already here for that event.
Will there be different categories too, like there usually is in races?
Yes, there is. What categories they are, I don't know. I'm not an entrepreneur at.
All the people who know about snowmobile races will know the categories, and they can worry about that themselves, right?
That's right. And I hope it's fair to all. That's I think what one of the focuses was as well.
Okay. What else Saturday?
Saturday they're also having a horseshoe tournament, which is going to be starting at 1:30 Saturday afternoon. It's pretty much focused around the singles on Saturday.
Married people can't play, you're just saying? Married people can't play?
People can, but only one can play horseshoes.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
Okay, only one can be playing horseshoes, or they can compete against each other, I suppose. But that might cause for a problem in the relationship. That's going to be starting at 1:30, as I said, on Saturday. Sunday, it's also going to go into Sunday, with the doubles on Sunday being at 1:30, for the continuation of whenever that may end.
Okay.
Saturday, also a lot of good food here. We're going to have fried clams, hamburgers, and hot dogs. Sunday, we'll be having our chicken dinner, which I think is going to be quite tasty.
Now, that's going to be tough for the chicken dinner, because this is your first one, and you got to know, you don't want to have too many left over, and you don't want to have a whole bunch cooked, and and people aren't here, so it's tough right there. I think that'd be a tough committee to come up with the right number.
You're absolutely right. What we try to do is talk to other people who've had this sort of event, and see how many they went through, trying to anticipate the number of people, trying to get a feel. And we've already committed to the number of chicken that we needed, so I guess we're kind of stuck. And we're just hoping that there's not going to be a lot of leftovers.
So all you chicken eaters had better show up here to help out the fire department. Is there anything competing? I know this weekend, June 11th, as I'm taping this on the 10th, Altona's having their old home day, and a little ways down the road, but not really adjacent to Altona, is the Cadyville Firemen's Field Day. Anything else going on in the immediate area that's going to be in competition with you that you're aware of?
Well, the only thing that I am aware of, or I should say two things, or three things actually, now that you mention it. I'm the parade chairman, so I've been pretty busy trying to get people to come here to participate in our parade. I've had some problems getting people with horses. I've got a few people with horses. I enjoy horses. I have them myself, and I know when I was a young kid, I always loved seeing horses in the parade. It was probably pretty much a highlight. So we got a few horses coming, but there's a horse show in Dannemora that day, I understand, in which this year, as opposed to other years, is a pointed event, so you get more points for participating in the show. So that's probably taking some of those sort of things away. Also, Keysville Fire Department is having a field day.
That's far enough away.
That's far enough away, but
for a parade chairman.
For a parade chairman, funny enough, believe it or not, their parade's at 11 o'clock, and we have some people participating in our parade at 11 that are going to go from here to their parade for 1. So that was, had to be sort of thought of as well in my lineup for the parade, to get these people taken care of and out of here. These are people that we need to see in the parade, that are going to be quite interesting.
Okay, that's 2.
The third one, big car rally, I guess, in Vermont. I'm not sure of the place, but I do have quite a few cars coming for this event. I would like some more. That's something that, again, interests, I think, everybody in all age categories. And, if anybody is interested in participating in any of those, either horse or car, float, business that would like to come in, we do have a lot of businesses that are participating. They can give me a call at 493-7309, and I'd be willing to set them up, as long as I know a day or two ahead of time to get them in the lineup for the parade. That works out great.
Now, we've just had a bunch of parades, Chazy, St. Mary's and Champlain, Moore's Forks and Altona. So if you have a float, you're probably already geared up to this. So this would be a continuation of that for you people out there to come out here and keep your float or whatever active and run it one more day.
That's absolutely right. That's what's the it would be an opportune time, and Father's Day is a great day to get out. I'm a father. I'm going to be out here. I think there's a lot of them that are going to be out there. It's going to be a very sunny day, about 75 degrees. I already have the order in for that.
Well, you probably should have done like Moore's Forks did. Every year, St. Anne's and Moore's Forks has a little bit of problem with the rain. This year, they brought in Bert Burdan, former weatherman at Channel 5, to be one of their parade judges. And weather was beautiful. So the secret was to get a weatherman in there as one of your judges.
There you go. Or we could probably get a weatherman to predict rain. That way we would have sun.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
That's a possibility, yes, because sometimes they're wrong.
I guess that's what I've been hearing. I don't know.
Let's do that long-range forecast. Okay, what else is going on Saturday, Steve?
Okay. I think Saturday, also at 8 o'clock, we're having Misty Creek. a band. They're going to play from 8 to midnight at the rec park. Live entertainment. It's great. It's outdoors. Also be advised, we're going to have legal beverages here. So if anybody wants to come and indulge in alcoholic beverages, they should bring a driver with them that's not going to. We're going to emphasize safety here as well.
Because you don't want to have them leave here, then have to have an ambulance called 10 minutes later, right?
That's absolutely right. We're all going to be very busy that day for the firemen. We do have some people from area departments that are going to come in and provide EMS for us because the local, I should say the fire persons here are going to be very busy with taking care of the events of the day and feeding people and making sure everybody's happy.
So some of your neighboring fire departments are going to be coming in and kind of being on hand to help out in an emergency?
That's absolutely right. We have EMS personnel from Altona. I know that are coming in. I spoke with a few last evening. I believe we have some from the city coming, and also maybe from Moore's. We have somebody taking care of that business, and I know that there's an overwhelming response to people wanting to help us out.
Yeah, well, fire departments and EMTs just seem to go out of their way to help each other, and I think that's great.
That's absolutely right.
Okay, Misty Creek, that sounds like a little bit of a country...
That's what I understand, and I've never heard them. Everybody I spoke to says they're excellent, and I'm very anxious to probably hear a few tunes from them Saturday evening, but I'm going to call it an early night because I've got an early Sunday morning preparing for the parade.
You got a long day on Sunday. So 8 o'clock till when are we playing?
8 o'clock until midnight, and from there on, we're going to boot people out of here and make sure everybody gets home safe.
Well, I think probably by then the neighbors might be looking to go to sleep, so they might appreciate that.
That's absolutely right. We hope that it's not too bad and they all understand with us one day a year. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, it's a Saturday night, so that's a night to stay up late.
That's right.
Okay, anything else that's going to cover it on Saturday, you think? Now, there'll be games, too?
There's going to be the typical, or I should say, field day type games. There'll be rides here as well for the kids. A lot of events, I should say, a lot of things happening. I'm sure it's going to, keep everybody in depth and want to stay here. And
okay, about different activities to participate in. Now let's look at Sunday.
Sunday is a very busy day for us here as well. As I mentioned earlier, the horseshoe tournament's going to continue on to Sunday, and that'll be the doubles on Sunday, and that'll be starting out at 1:30 as well. Preceding the parade, we're also going to be having a group of people that get together. We're going to call them Rhythm and Spoons, and there's some gentlemen that play the violin and guitar, the spoons, and they're going to provide music for us for the afternoon, which I understand is excellent as well. I was just speaking with one of the gentlemen a few minutes ago. He came down to see where we were going to be setting them up. They're also going to be riding in the parade, so we'll get a little taste of them through the parade and enjoy them for the afternoon here.
Okay, so that's just a group of individuals who are just going to be alternating performing? Is that the way it's going to work?
They're going to perform as a group. They're people that have performed all together at a time before. A lot of these, the fiddlers, from what I understand, people play the fiddle and harmonica and that sort of thing. They get together often as a group and play. And there's a young man, I'm going to use young man, who I spoke with, who worked very hard at getting some of these people together on that day, and going to come down and help us out.
Who's that young man?
Forgive me for not knowing his last name. I've been calling him Chet for about 3 weeks now on the phone. We talk every other day. And I'm not even... There goes our MC the day of the parade. Look at that.
Who is that?
That's Joe Lapierre. He did it for Shazy as well. It looks like he's going to come back and get some time on the camera.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay, and your fiddler's person?
Chet, and I, like I said, forgive me for not knowing his last name. And
Young Chet.
Young Chet. We're going to call him Young Chet, and I should be ashamed for not knowing his last name.
You should be.
I
That's
should
all
be.
right.
I'm sure I'll get punished appropriately. But
Okay.
we have put something together. We do have some other people from this organization that are going to be coming in and playing throughout the day, and hope it's going to be very entertaining.
Okay, I thought I'd heard the name of Joe Giroux for fiddlers here in West Shazy, but it doesn't, the only Joe Giroux I know is the farmer who's running for county office this year.
Yes, and I hope that he makes it.
But I don't think he's involved with the fiddlers, but I thought I heard his name in Morris Forks.
You're absolutely right. He was up there in Morris Forks, and I hope that he's going to make it here. I know that Chet has spoke with him about this, I believe, and he's going to hopefully come and give us some of his expertise.
Okay. Okay. Want to talk about the parade?
Sure. As I mentioned, it's a rather large parade, and as from what I understand now, we've been going through most of the parades, firemen, throughout the year to see what events are happening, and we have quite a few people participating, as I mentioned earlier, that much bigger than most of the parades in the area.
Any idea right now how many units you have?
Well, it's going to be close. I'm almost to 70 now.
Wow.
And that is quite large. And I'm sure I'm going to get more this next week of people with either cars, businesses with floats. I'm hoping anyway. And that's about what I can say. The parade route itself is going to run right down Route 22. There was a change in that. Originally we were going to come down one of the side roads. But with all the feedback we've gotten from the public saying, that's not a lot of room. We're all going to be there. We need more room. So we're going to come down Route 22, and it provides parking pretty much on both sides of the road from the parade start, which is about 1 mile and 3/10 down the road. Which
Roughly where would you say that is?
The end of Old Route 22. It's about 3/10 of a mile north of the Slauson Road. If that's a help for the people out there listening.
Okay.
They'll see where the lineup's going to start anyway.
Where will they be? The lineup will be on one of the side roads, I assume?
It's going to be on Route 22 and on the side roads. What we're going to do is make it convenient for the people in the parade and line the people up who are marching close and have them sort of fall in as the apparatus and floats come through.
Because traffic still has to get here. If you're going to attend the parade, you still have to get here. So
That's absolutely right, and that's why, again, Route 22 is such an ideal spot. It's newly been paved. I'm sure you saw when you came down through, if you came down Route 22.
I always take the Ridge Road and 348.
Oh, you'll have to go down 22. The state's done an excellent job in paving that for us.
Okay.
And they'll be providing excellent parking for a lot of people. So that's going to be really convenient for us. There'll also be a lot of parking here. We'll encourage people to come early. The parade starts at 11, come early, park here, and walk just a short distance, as down to the Four Corners where the reviewing stand is going to be, and so they can hear of all the, the people who are coming through and know what organization they are as well.
The reviewing stand will be on the post office, or where?
It's going to be actually across the road from the post office and a little bit more to the north in the property of George Rabideau. He's a past fireman here, and he's let us use his piece of property for the reviewing stand, which is very nice of him. And so we're going to have a reviewing stand.
Okay, I know George very well.
Yes.
Worked many years with him.
Yes, a nice man.
At Harris. Okay, what else do you have?
Horse pulls. I think everybody likes horse pulls.
I've tried pulling a horse, and if they don't want to move, they don't move.
That's absolutely right. I found that out too, but I think when it's the other way around, when the horse has to pull it, it's
more interesting that way.
More interesting, and it works. It works. We're going to have horse pulls starting at, I'm going to say preceding the parade is how I should say this, tentatively 1 o'clock.
Well, following the parade.
Following the parade, and they're going to be right down. We have a horse rink down there that was put in many years ago that they're going to be pulling in. Good seating down there to see the horse pulls. It's not going to be too far from all the other events as well, so it's going to make it convenient there.
Okay. And I see on the bottom of your list, I keep checking to make sure that camera's still running, a lip sync.
Lip sync contest. There's another thing that I want to mention and give a phone number if I could.
Sure.
They're going to have a lip sync contest starting tentatively again at 1:30 Sunday afternoon. There's a lady who has got some response back but would like some more. And her name is Cindy Breen, and her number is 493-6201. If anybody's interested in participating in the lip sync contest, give her a call or just show up that day, and I'm sure that we can that she can fit you in her program.
Okay, that starts at what?
1:30 Sunday
1:30.
afternoon.
Until everybody is synced.
Until everybody is synced. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Also, I might want to mention that the flea market, I was speaking with one of the ladies yesterday afternoon, and she said, Steve, I have some more spots open, and if you know somebody, please tell them. And I says, well, I said, it just so happens that I might be on TV tomorrow or be doing an interview with Calvin Castine, and maybe I can mention it on the air. So I
Flea
said
market?
the flea market. I will do that. And her name is Sandy Kipp, and she can reach that at 493-5124. And she also has another lady helping her out with. Her name is Georgie Breen, and her number is 493-6182.
He's checking these numbers because you give out a wrong number almost every day in the local paper, which we won't mention. You'll see a correction. The number should have been in that article, and it's kind of late then. People have been calling the wrong number, so it's important to have the right numbers.
That's right. I agree with you. It is, especially for this. But again, if there's any questions on this, they can contact me at 493-7309, which I know is the correct number, or even try catching us here at the station, because approximately 4 or 5 days before this, starting like Tuesday, we're going to be getting everything together, start putting up our tents and so on and so forth, making sure everything's sort of in line. There's a lot of preparation to this. I think when we brought this up 10 months ago to do this, there's a lot of people that said yeah, and I've noticed that it's for us short on time, and it really is a wearing thing. And this year is pretty much a base builder. And I hope we have good participation from the area so that we continue to do this next year. And
If there's anybody out there who's not a member of the fire department or rescue squad who would just like to help out, I imagine you wouldn't chase them away.
that's absolutely right. Give us a call here at the station, 493-4995, or you can call me with the number that I mentioned earlier, or you can stop down. There will be people to see you from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going to be here pretty much all day long in the morning, and there's going to be other people here as well to get ready. Stop on in. We're more than willing to put somebody to work, either running or actual labor.
Now, have you already committed yourselves to future events, or are you going to wait and see how it goes this year?
I want to call this the first annual, and I've been calling it the first annual, and I put it out on my flyers, for people for parade invitations, and I hope this is a yearly event, and I think we're all going to work hard to make it that, and I think that the community is going to come out and support us and make us want to have it again next year.
Oh, great. Anything else we ought to cover, Steve?
Not that I'm aware of at this point in time. As I mentioned, we do have lots of good food. There's going to be we're going to have clams, lots of games.
Chicken barbecue.
Fries, chicken barbecue on Sunday. The good old hamburgers and hot dogs. Misty Creek's coming again Saturday evening. I know I'm hoping that we get a lot of people for that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want to encourage everybody. We're going to have legal beverages, but let's be safe and make sure that if you're going to be enjoying a cocktail or two, to bring a designated driver.
Well, it's not the one or two that's going to need a driver. It's
That's absolutely right.
the 7 or 8.
And hopefully we're going to catch that before they leave and appropriately take care of that problem.
That's always a concern, I know, with anybody putting on a field day.
That's right. That's right. It was a major concern of ours. I had a big part of the play here, and we have to assume that everybody's going to do the right thing, and we're going to help that out.
Okay, good. Anything else that you feel is important?
At this point in time, no. I think everything is going quite fine.
Who's your overall chairman?
Our overall chairman is John Montroy, and our second in command for there is Bill Dominy, which is vehicles behind us here, and they're all quite shy.
I noticed we have a pile of vehicles here, and everybody just kind of scurried away, like walking into a pile of rabbits. They all ran in different directions.
I don't know what that is. I haven't been able to figure it out. I have our gentleman who's going to be announcing the parade standing over there, but I think he's waiting for us to get done.
Looks that way.
To probably discuss a few things with me. And we do have some other firemen in there that are here. That's what we started here this morning before you came. A little get together to discuss the layout of the field.
Okay, so that's coming Saturday and Sunday. That's June 17th and 18th, and yes, that Sunday is Father's Day. So it's a nice way to spend Father's Day. Bring Dad out and treat him to a barbecued chicken. And you can enjoy watching the horse pulls, or on Saturday you can watch the snowmobiles burning their engines out in the backyard here. One other question I've got, Steve. You told me before we went on the air that you're a Canadian.
Well, I say that it's in my blood, is what I should say. I don't speak French, and I wish I would, because I go to these family get-togethers, and I see my dad speaking French with some of my aunts and uncles, and they say a few words, and they look at me and they smile. So I always am kind of concerned about what they say. So I look at him back usually and ask him, what are you saying, so I can know. Now I'm going to know why you're laughing. But that's about all it gets of Canadian. I was born here in the good old US of A. My grandfather came from Canada. Down the road this way, had a farm, and that's basically my Canadian heritage.
Okay, are you related to the Bedards up in the Champlain Moors area?
Not that I'm aware of, but it's a possibility. I have an uncle Andy over here, and my dad Henry is basically the only immediate Bedards that I'm related to.
Okay. Besides your immediate family.
Besides my immediate family, that's correct.
You don't want to forget them.
That's right.
Okay, we've been talking to Steve Bedard, and we've been talking about the first annual West Shazy Fire Department's Field Day. And if you've gone to all the other field days and bazaars and stuff that we've had in the recent weeks, this is a chance to keep that string going and go to one more. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Castine. Hope to see you all, 17th and 18th.
I'll be here at least the 18th and probably the 17th too.
Great, thank you.